I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All 6 of them.
Who are you?
This is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review, and this is another PayPal request from Lucas, and it's for a film called Flushed Away from 2006. Now, if anyone's interested in requesting any type of reviews or movies, reviews of movies or something else, re-reviews, topics, reactions, pretty much any type of video, you can request it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Now, Flushed Away is a film I had heard of but never bothered seeing, because I'm not mad about this film. I actually liked it because I guess really, the concept of rats in the sewers, and do I really care about seeing an adventure with them? Maybe that's why the film didn't do the best at the box office. Maybe it's one of those things where other people thought, I don't know, do I want to see a movie about, well, some do if it's Ratatouille, but maybe here it didn't really do the best. I mean, it lost quite a bit of money with the studio, which is why the studio that released it left, because, how do I put it? Aardman Animations. Aardman had worked on Chicken Run, which I liked. I liked the stop motion animation, and some of the humor worked well. Mel Gibson did a good job voicing the rooster, and the success of that definitely preempted a bunch of other projects and potential projects, one of them being this. And sadly, because they were dealing with elements of water, which that's very almost impossible to work with, I guess, on a stop motion angle, especially for this big of a movie, they just made it all CG, which I will say loses a little bit of the charm compared to Chicken Run, because I'm a sucker for stop motion animation. But the film still has, it might have lost a little bit of charm, but there's still charm to be had there. And I forgot, because again, I heard about the film, but I forgot that Hugh Jackman, Kate Winslet, Ian McKellen, Jean Reno, like, this is a pretty decent voice cast. And Hugh Jackman voices this pampered rat for this rich family, but he's lonely. So like, the family's out and he's picked his costumes, kind of a fun little nod to Hugh Jackman, because one of the costumes he's thinking of is the yellow Wolverine costume. He's driving a car with Barbie dolls. He does like an ode to the James Bond opening. Like, he goes through this whole theme, and then of course we, the audience, realizes he's really fucking lonely. I don't know, when you're lonely, jack it, but we don't want that kind of movie. But that's what most normal guys who are lonely, there's going to be a lot of tissues and a lot of chafing, which that's another story entirely. Too much information. But seriously, Hugh Jackman does a good job voicing the lead character. I like Hugh Jackman as an actor. He doesn't always pick the best projects. I mean, Real Steel can stick a fucking fist up its ass. I'm not sure if anyone gives a shit about Pan that he was in. But The Prestige was pretty decent. The Swordfish, it was okay for what it was, for me at least. I know some of my friends don't like it. I can understand. But there's not a lot of movies that he did that really got the muster of his Wolverine character when people look back on his career. But they say he does fine here, and again showcasing the loneliness. And one day the sewer rat comes in, and this sewer rat just got on my nerves. But that's the point. That's the exact point of it. So he's burping, "Careful, mate, those aren't chocolate buttons." And he wants to be here. He's going to take over the place. Hugh Jackman's trying to find a way to get him out. "Hey, look at this jacuzzi. It's the toilet." Of course, the sewer rat doesn't fall for it. I know what it is. It's a fucking sewer rat, you fucking dunce. He hasn't taught that way. It'd be a different, funny move if he did talk that way, but it's not. So he flushes Hugh Jackman's character down the toilet. Thankfully, no shit is amongst it. And when he comes down, one thing leads to another, and he's in this city that looks similar to London. Again, I said this film at least does still have some bit of that charm that a film like Chicken Run does. Some of the humor, like you have these slugs that appear throughout the film, and they'll like scream, but as they're running away, but it's so slow because they can't go any faster. "I'm running for my life." It's like, ah. I thought that was pretty funny. And throughout the film, like a certain amount of slugs will keep popping in to do songs, as if it seemed as if they were the girls in Little Shop of Horrors that would come in, but they didn't just do like these random songs. I thought, oh yeah, that was kind of fun. And Hugh Jackman, one way or another, meets up with the captain of the ship, and it's Kate Winslet from Titanic. And then the movie becomes sort of the African Queen, for people who remember that movie, Humphrey Bogart. But if the gender was reversed, instead of a guy being the captain, here's Kate Winslet being the captain, which is fine because the voice actors worked well. It does have some humor that goes a little bit above a kid's mentality, meaning like when she hides this thing and she's trying to fuck over Hugh Jackman and the bad guys are coming after it. Hugh Jackman goes, "Well, I don't know, the booty is in the booty." Just in her ass back pocket. Or when they're on the run and they're going from point A to point B and they're rolling down, she's hanging on to something, he's hanging on to her, they're asking questions, conversing. He's like, "I want to see the views." He slides down accidentally, and now his view is in front of her ass. He's like, "Is that the view I was thinking of?" And that did make me chuckle. Or Kate Winslet, she's more of the rough and tumble gal. "Okay, we don't have a deal." And he's about ready to spit. "No, spit in your hand, not in my hand." And of course, like a lot of these movies, they bond as they go on. They don't like each other first. They bond. They grow to like each other. They probably love each other. All that stuff. Again, stuff you've seen in plenty of other films. The action scenes at least seem fairly well choreographed. There's sequences where they're each on their boats and going through the waves through the sewer tunnels. And at one point these rats have, you know, the mixers you have, like, yeah, I guess a mixer is the best way to call them. They're actually, rats are riding on them as if they're jet skis. I thought that was kind of a clever idea. Your villains are toads, the main one being Ian McKellen, and then he has this French toad played by Jean Reno. who was a cousin. And talking more about clever ideas is a point where they reach our two main characters. And so one of the French frauds is, of course, a mime. But the clever idea is they have a cell phone, so the mime puts the cell phone on him, so when it flips up, the face is the screen of the head bad guy. So the head bad guy is talking on the cell phone screen while the mime is doing this. So it almost seems as if the bad guy is doing all the stuff the mime's doing. Oh, just the fact that, yeah, because of the size, of course, he wears the cell phone and that becomes his new face. Again, something about that, I'm like, okay, that's kind of neat. I never would have thought of that, but I thought that was a neat idea. Of course, you know, by the third act, the Toad wants to do something to wipe out the city that Hugh Jackman was in. It causes flood. We gotta find a way to save it. So it's not like the plot is anything original in terms of, yeah, I've seen that before. I've seen that before in terms of, what's the thing I'm looking for? It's the same in terms of the cliches, but just different in the environment is taking place. Which you can say that for a ton of movies, let's be honest. There are a shitload of movies that are almost the same film, but you know, part of what works is either the actors or the humor or the action or the superficial other stuff, or because of which environment it's in. In this case, in the sewers and the fast rats and stuff. The movie is pretty short, an hour and 16 minutes, so it went by like a breeze. Like I say, the action scenes work well. I do wish somehow they did do in stop motion. I think that would elicit even more of a charm, like they had with Chicken Run. And I don't know if that would have affected the budget, because I feel it seemed like a bigger budget, looked at the numbers compared to Chicken Run. So I do wonder if going all digital CG really hurt them in the long run on that factor. Again, I don't know. But I guess that, yeah, maybe the time of dealing with water would have been too much for them. But I swear I've seen stop motion stuff that dealt with water. I swear I've seen that, so oh. There was a point that I wish that the asshole sewer rat Sid got the shit kicked out. I wish Hugh Jackman, before the third act, when he does get back, and then he makes the journey back in order to help out, I wish there was a moment that he at least beat the fuck out of Sid, or punched him, or kicked him in the nuts, and then left. But he doesn't. But, you know, the sewer rat asshole, you can tell you he'll get comeuppance, because at the very end, spoilers, oh, he's part of the new family. Well, guess what they brought home? They brought home a cat. I hope it eats your fucking ass, you fucking fool. You know, he has songs like Rolling Down the River. That's how the movie ends, with that song, Rolling Down the River. You know, not a bad soundtrack. Like, it's one of those films that is sufficient, easy going, easy to watch. There's nothing that made me mad about it. And the pretty decent voice cast, the breezy pacing, decent CG animation. Again, moments that made me chuckle. There's these two henchmen that work, these two rat henchmen that work with the bad guy. I thought though they worked well together. It was Andy Serkis and Bill Nighy. I mean, Andy Serkis, he voiced Gollum in Lord of the Rings. He was in Black Panther. He's been in a lot of other stuff. And then Bill Nighy, usually he's a bad guy. He was one of the main bad guys in Underworld. If you look at Bill Nighy, he's like, wow, I've seen him in a lot of stuff. I thought they had a pretty good back and forth. Because Andy Serkis, he's more aggressive and he's more of the asshole. Bill Nighy, granted, he's working with the bad guys, but he seems less vicious and more gullible and a bit more stupid. And yeah, they worked decently well together. Trying to see if there's anyone else I recognize in the cast. No, but I mean, again, the cast is pretty decent. At the time, Aardman encouraged everyone at the company to come up with ideas for features for the DreamWorks partnership. Someone came up with this idea, a guy named Sam Fell, who's an animator. The African Queen with the gender roles reversed. There you go. It would have been expensive to composite CG into shots that include water, which there are many in the movie, so they chose to flush away their first all production. Yeah, it's complex to render water with this technique, and using real water can damage the models if they did stop motion. So, and yeah, the soundtrack, you got Billy Idol, you got Tom Jones, you got Tina Turner, you got Fatboy Slim. Yeah, the Slugs, each time they popped up singing, I thought that was rather, again, a harmless film. Harmless movie that has some nice quirky moments, has some entertainment value that if you like stuff like Chicken Run, if you're into Wallace Gromit, right, it might not be the actual stop motion clay animation, but it still has that feel and charm to it. Again, not as much charm but the tone of the humor is what I'm saying. Maybe not 100% the look, but the tone is still there. So it works in that aspect. So yeah, Flush Away, not a bad film at all. You know, I did like it. So with that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye bye.